welcome to another episode of International Crossover. I'm your host, Larry Jamel. Belal, you're gonna have to introduce our guest for today.
Hey man, this is a big one. We went to the other side of the globe, and we're really excited to introduce Tareq Sbiet from North Pole Hoops. Tariq, welcome to the episode.
Thanks for
We
having me,
also
guys.
thank
Of
you. We also have a
course.
special guest with us, Mario Sawaya from here in Dubai. He's with us in the studio. So it's amazing to
Mario,
have
my
both of you
guy.
with us at the same time.
So guys, thanks for having me.
Sir,
What's going on,
So we're
though?
gonna start it up fairly quick. So I'll hit Tariq with some serious questions and see what we can get from him. So Tariq, as you know, for those who don't know what MPH is, just brief us a bit about North Pole Hoops.
sure. Yeah, so North Pole Hoops started in 2011. What it is a basketball exposure platform for youth, where we work with youth as early as seventh, sixth, seventh grade, and we help them move up the ladder to the next level. University scholarships in Canada and America, and that's what it's about. The core aspect of it is we have leagues, but then we add the and tournaments, but then we add the exposure side with scouting and marketing and live broadcasting just to give maximum exposure for the kids.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. When was the moment that you knew Canada had this basketball talent?
Oh man, that's a good question. So I was young when I started getting into the basketball world and the industry because I was playing since third grade,
Hmm.
and I would see guys around. I was trying to make it to the next level too, but I'm a 5'9" point guard. At the end of the day, I had guys way better than me, like 6'8", long, athletic, and they weren't really getting any exposure, but they were talented, right? And they're trying to get that D1 scholarship, etc. But when it started to become real was the era with Corey Joseph and Tristan Thompson. That's when I started in the industry. I interviewed Corey Joseph when he was 10th grade, did like a whole photo shoot. He then went to Findlay Prep,
Oh, yeah.
and then the Texas Longhorns, and then he gets drafted to the Spurs. Tristan Thompson was a lottery pick. So that's when like the early stages of what we were doing, we saw it translate. And obviously, there's a lot of different contributors to that
Hmm.
of these kids getting to the next level. But we always say, like in Canada, Tristan Thompson, Corey Joseph are like the pioneers of the next generation. Because before that, it was like Steve Nash, Jamal McGlure, but they were like a different era. There was like a long period of time where no Canadians got to the NBA. But since Tristan Thompson and Corey Joseph made it, it inspired a whole generation, inspired a whole country. And then since then, almost every single year since then, so it's been like 15 years or whatnot, how players get drafted to the league. Like this year, we have Will Riley, expected to be a lottery pick, or sixth man of the year. He's played at Illinois, and so now it's like you can expect it. At least check one box for Canada in every draft, at least one.
Yeah. And how did you become passionate about the game in general? Because, like, yeah, what was your?
Kobe
How did it
Bryant.
start? Kobe?
Kobe Bryant, man. Third grade is when I started like playing ball, and that was during the time where the Shaq and Kobe, the dynasty of the Lakers. It was just like that was my inspiration, like how he
Yeah.
played the game, his passion, his work ethic. I fell in love with the game through that whole run, and started playing just like Mario was playing, from when he was young, and that was when my basketball journey started, third grade, and eventually it was just like all right, I want to stay involved with basketball. I didn't make the NBA, I didn't make the NCAA, but how do I stay involved with the game and contribute in a meaningful way?
Hmm. That's good.
That's excellent, man. I mean, that's the aim of what we're doing. Also, like we're contributing towards the game, whether directly to us or indirectly to other people. We're trying to improve the offering, I guess, to people and make the transition to schooling or pro life or whatever they can get from basketball as a like an easy step. Me growing up, that was a bit difficult. I had to do videotapes and send the videotape across the world and wait to see
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
they got it or not. So you could never know if they received it. So that's amazing these days. By a click of a button, you can connect to different people with not really a lot of effort. Which is great. Yeah.
And that's why
Uh,
I like look at like what's happening in Dubai, what's happening in the Middle East. It reminds me a lot of Canada 15, 20 years ago, where
Hmm.
there's passion, there's passion for the game, There's interested people doing good things. It just needs a little bit of infrastructure. It needs exposure because
Mm-hmm.
there's always talent in Canada, and all the old heads would tell me that. Like I was trying to be a student of the game. The guys that are like older now, they just didn't have that spotlight on them, and it's just amazing what that could do to like inspire a whole generation. Like people say Vince Carter, was a factor because
Yes.
he wasn't
Big factor,
Canadian,
yeah.
but he was Vinsanity. You know what I mean? For
Yeah, yeah.
Canadians, that was another aspect of inspiration.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it definitely was. Vince Carter in Toronto, like they said that he sparked up Toronto. That was really it. And then
I mean,
also
I didn't-
First
obviously,
superstar.
yeah,
I mean,
and
me
obviously
living
seeing
on the
him,
other
like,
side of the world, I was in Australia or Lebanon, and hearing about Toronto was purely from Vince Carter perspective. I didn't even know what Toronto was, so definitely opens people's eyes through the athlete that he was and the showman that he was. It helped a lot of people gain exposure in that area, and I think put Canadian basketball on the map.
yeah, it really did. And even talking about Canadian basketball, like y'all were just in the Olympics. Y'all got bronze. You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen
No,
next?
no, we didn't medal in the Olympic. We won the world.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, we got bronze at the Worlds.
Yes.
We didn't get a medal in the Olympics, so we don't talk about the Olympics right now. It's so
My,
fresh. It's
my
so
bad.
fresh.
In worlds though, y'all placed third, bronze.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shea
So,
Gilgis, led by Shea Gilgis, MVP. So
the MVP. Yeah, exactly.
Which
So
gonna
you
bring
did
me to the
mention-
next. Sorry, Larry,
got
go
it.
ahead.
Now you got it, Belal.
I was gonna say the next, I guess, concern or question that we have is, how do you describe the last 15 years of Canadian basketball, the evolution of it?
yeah, I would say it's everything's been happening in stages. So if we talk about the NBA level, I mentioned Corey and Tristan, and then afterwards a bunch of guys got drafted, and then it was just a matter of staying in the league, right? Some guys got drafted, but they didn't stick in the league. So then there was like an aspect of the evolution where it was okay, going from getting drafted and then going to Europe or whatnot, and then staying in the league. The next step after that was staying in the league, being an impact player in the league.
Yep.
Then after that, it was okay. Now we got some all stars, right? And to be honest with you guys, the evolution is actually still happening because just yesterday Shea was announced as the MVP. The last time we had a Canadian, and the only time was Steve Nash, right?
Yep.
So, but like right now, like it's fresh. It's crazy that we're doing this podcast right now because it hasn't been in 24 hours. We're seeing the impact that Shea getting MVP, how it's having on our basketball community. People are excited. Canadian basketball continues to rise. It shows that a country like Canada, under 40 million people, compared to America, 400 million people, it's like, in a way, a little bit of an underdog story that it could be world class. It could be at the highest level, first place. That's what Shea represents. And it's special because of who Shea is. Like, he's humble, he's hungry, he's an unbelievable leader, and like he's a huge influencer in the basketball space, period. So super proud of him and what he's been able to do.
Yeah, what he's doing on the court is amazing. You know what I mean? Real leader. And just also one of my young boys that, because I've been covering the grassroots for a long time, but like to see Andrew Nemhard, like be that impact player, like stick in the league, that's beautiful to see. Because a lot of guys maybe wouldn't have thought that he would be like a starter in the league. So it's just testament to Canadian basketball.
Yeah, it sucks that he's going against your Knicks, but like you got Andrew, and you also got Ben Maturin from Quebec, Canadian kid. So it's Nemhard was just like you can never speed him up, even when he was in grade 10, grade 11. Like put the full court press on, he's just chilling. He's just like, okay, let me see what's going on here, and he's still the same way. So that composure piece is huge for him.
No, it's beautiful. So why do you think so many prospects are now coming out of Canada?
Yeah, I've gotten that question over the years a lot, and I've heard people's response. Some people say Vince Carter, that's like a big contributor. Others say talk about the national program. Others talk about the grassroots basketball system. I believe it's a community effort. I believe it takes a village. I'm a huge believer in that. And what we do at North Pole Hoops by nature is we collaborate with different people in the basketball space. Club programs, managers, agents, you name it from top to bottom. And it truly is like whether the space realizes it sometimes or not, like everyone has a role to play, you know? And if you play that role at a high level, then everyone knows who you are and how you contribute. So I feel like it's all of the above. It's like, you needed the exposure. So, the AAU programs and the club programs, we're starting to take the Canadian team going to America, winning championships at big AAU events at
Yeah.
a young level. You know what I mean? And then, we played a role on the scouting side to help them get scholarships and work with NCAA programs. And then they're having some impact. So you have all these people doing great work in the basketball community. You got the national program,
Yeah.
obviously. Everyone plays a part, and it's reflected in the success. Like Shea wins the MVP, Canada wins. You know what I mean? We get the bronze, we get a medal first time maybe I think ever at the World Cup.
Yep.
Canada wins. The Raptors won a championship years ago. Man, it was mayhem. Like what the Knicks when the Knicks made it to the Eastern Finals, what that looked like outside was crazy. Is what it looked like with the Raptors won the championship. 4 million people outside. Everyone's happy. Everyone's excited. Everyone's inspired. So I just to answer your question, I truly believe in the village, the collective, the community. Sometimes not everyone in this space is aware
Yeah.
that we actually can work together. We're not against each other, right? So, but that comes with time, and I feel like in America, like that's our big brother, right? We look at America. You do see, obviously, you see some division as well, but like you see people like, oh, like this is what you do, this is what we do. Let's connect. Let's build something bigger. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I would say it's a collective effort for sure.
Yeah, man. Canada got it right now.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Appreciate
So
it.
about that, when you actually scouting people, or you're looking into scouting people abroad, whether in Canada or now you're being in the States, Tariq, uh, other than stats, what's the intangibles that you look at from a player perspective? I mean, everybody knows
Tangibles.
stats matter, but obviously there's other things other than stat that matters when you're scouting or looking at scouting people.
Yeah, I really appreciate that question because, when we talk about scouting, we do player rankings and you're comparing players. We always talk about potential versus production. The production, of course, is your performance, your statistic output, etc. But then you talk about potential. How do you calculate potential? Intangibles. And this is very big when it comes to my staff. We're big on intangibles. We're big on culture. We're talking about things like what is an intangible? It's a thing you can't really put a statistic to. So it's like leadership, communication, work ethic, intensity, competitiveness. You talk about guys like Shea. You talk about guys like Andrew Nembhard, Jamal Murray, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. All the guys that are impacting in the NBA from a Canadian lens. We learned how valuable those intangibles are by going through their journey. We see like Andrew's tough as nails,
He
Nembhard.
is. Yeah.
Shea is tough as nails. They're different personalities. Like Jamal Murray's tough,
Hmm.
but he's boisterous. That's his personality. He's gonna tell you something. Shea, quiet. Nemhard, quiet. They're more introverted, but that toughness aspect is like your composure. You can't be rattled. Someone puts pressure on you, you're chilling. You're moving. You're moving on your pace. You're controlling. So when it comes to the intangibles, it is the number one thing I look for. Because what happens when you got two guys? They're both 6'6" shooting guards,
Mm.
and one guy's a competitor, is locking up full court, right? The other's kind of lackadaisical, kind of chilling. So I'm taking that dog every time. We call him dog, and one of the calls that we have with our coaches is dogs only.
Hmm.
That's what we look for. That's what I tell my scouts to look for. So it's really important because the intangibles are what translate at the highest level. So when you're going from high school to NCAA, and then from NCAA to the NBA, when you're competing against your counterparts, that's inside. Everyone's talented in the NBA.
Yeah.
Everyone can hoop in the
Everyone.
NBA. Everyone can hoop in the NCAA, but it's like, are you tough? Are you gonna crack under pressure?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be the first guy in, last guy out the gym? How do you separate yourself? And that's the
Exactly.
difference between when they're drafted and the GMs are talking, having those conversations, they'll hit us up, ask for information, the stuff beyond like the stats where everyone can
Yeah.
see by going to ESPN and looking at the stats. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. And you hit it on the nail. Really, it's just like how you separate yourself. And a Canadian hooper that like always caught my attention since he was 14 at Mount Verde Academy. You know, RJ Barrett. That was my boy, and I saw a different like mindset and outlook when I saw him on the court. It was just like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. You know?
Yes.
I mean, it's all about the passion. It's about the heart. It's about the effort. You know, all of these things are very important, and obviously coachability as you reach a higher level. How open you are to be coached, not thinking you know it all and no one can teach you anymore, and be open to this coachability aspect of the game. Because even the best of the best, like even if you speak to Jordan, which I never spoke with, but I'm sure if you do ask him the question, he's always learning. Every day of his life playing basketball, he's always learning and open to learn, to improve things. And you can learn from looking at a kid dribbling, or you can learn sometimes from the pros, looking at the pros. There's different aspects of the game that may catch your attention or capture something from them to improve your game. You know, always an open mind, basically. Yeah.
That's a great point, Belal. And I would say to that, like, you can't truly lead, or there's certain levels to leadership, but you can't truly lead unless you know how to follow too. And if that's Michael Jordan, if that's Kobe, you got to learn how to follow in order to lead, because a lot of times leadership is like listening. You know, what are people saying? How could I lead them, right? So definitely a great point there on the coachability piece.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Kobe and Jordan, everyone knows the famous clip where Kobe is asking Jordan something in the game to improve his game. Yeah. I mean, in the game, like, and Jordan answered him in the game, like, this would never happen in the real world. Like, you're playing against me on the court. I'm not going to give you a tip right now. You know what I mean? But that's what kind of individual leaders they were. And he's happy to follow or ask the question. And this is the moment he can ask it. He's like, I'm going to ask it. If it's a game time or not, I'm asking the question, which is amazing. It's amazing to see.
That humility.
Yeah. And also the access, right? Like, you there with the GOAT. Like, you're not gonna, try to ask that quick question, see what's up.
Yeah.
So. Hey, Tariq. So, has there ever been a prospect that you saw early that was just overlooked by other people?
Yeah, tons every year. I think a couple that come to my mind in different ways. Jamal Murray, we identified him early when he was about 13, 14 years old, but he was not from Toronto. He was from Kitchener-Waterloo. So, like, no one really talks about that smaller city. So we were able to rank him. We put him number one, and he just kept, every environment you put him in, he kept rising. So there's different examples of that are maybe even later bloomers, like AJ Lawson, right? He was a late bloomer. He's signed with the Raptors now. That's my guy. Worked very closely with him, mentoring him. Great kid, great family, but he was overlooked because he had a growth spurt. He was like 6'3" in the early high school days, and jumped up to 6'6". Still kind of learning the game and figuring things out. So those two examples, and then I would say Quebec in general, like Ben Maturin. I remember walking through a gym. So he's obviously from Quebec. I'm from Ontario. It was a national championships tournament, and I'm walking. He knows, like, okay, I'm Northville Hoops, the scout, but I'm from Ontario. He thinks like I'm an Ontario guy, and I'm pumping up the Ontario guy. I was like, oh, like, I'm like, yo, I'm for everybody, But like, he looks at me and he's like, yeah, like the eyes, he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh shoot, man. Like, so you mentioned RJ. RJ was like that too. The eyes. And I was like, one thing I say is scouting is the eyes never lie. Like when you see a guy, that's confidence. He's got big time confidence, and so. With Ben, I think he's a great representation. I remember calling my brother at the time. I was working with him at MPH, and he was focusing on the scouting side. I was like, hey, he's the number one player in the country. He's like, yeah, but so and so. No, he's the guy. He's definitely the guy.
Yeah.
And he's an NBA player. So it's a lot of overlooked guys and under the radar guys in Quebec for sure, which you'll hear more about as. The game continues to grow up there.
Okay, cool. Good to know. I'm tapped in now.
So, moving on, guys, we're going to introduce again our special guest in here in the studio, Mario Sawaya. How are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Amazing, man. Thanks for taking the time. Come to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
What's your feel like? What's your excitement level like now? You've just recently been committed to Concordia University in Canada.
Man, I'm so excited, man. It's such a good opportunity for me to learn and develop as a player, and I'm obviously super grateful to the coaching staff for giving me the opportunity, and yeah, man, I'm excited to get to work.
Amazing, man, amazing. You've already connected with the coaches there. You had a chat with them.
Yeah, I've gone on a few calls with the coaches so far. Obviously, like I like that they were open in terms of concerns that they had about me as a player, and like it also kind of gives me guidance on what to work on from now until I go there to try to prepare myself as much as I can. And yeah, I mean, super kind people, super open, honest, and yeah, I really appreciate it.
That's amazing, amazing. So I'm just going to mention some things about Mario. Basically, Mario joined the BAA League when he was 12 years old. How old are you now, Mario?
17.
17. So it's been 5 years in the making. He's joined BAA League since 12. He first joined BAA under the Leopards team, which is his school team, DAA, Dubai American Academy in Bersha. And then from there, he joined his friends into a mini team called Snipers, I believe.
Yeah.
And you played there also. And then you joined the Champs Academy, where you played with us in BAA League also for a season. And then you moved on to the NBA basketball school. You also played for a season. And now you're playing with BAA, Ball Above All, in the BAA League. Not to mention you're training with Relentless for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You've been training with him. So he's a very hard-working individual. You can see like he never stops, even though he's playing or he's with the school. He's still training. He's improving his game. I just want to say, like, this is all fruits of your labor, man, and that's what's going to happen as you move on to university level. You're going to keep that work ethic, and even, believe it or not, times it by 10 to keep them more competitive.
Of course.
So yeah, that's amazing. Any questions you have to the guys? Obviously, Larry and Tariq are with us. I'm sure they could help guide you also in some ways. If you need any help, feel free to ask as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually this morning. I was training with a guy that came over from the States. He plays D1 basketball. I'm not sure where he just transferred, but I'm not sure where he went now. But I asked him like what the biggest difference to him was from like with the transition from high school to college. And one thing that he really like pressed like highlighted was speed. And I thought he was talking about like physically speed. He was like, no, like mentally speed. Like the coaches move super quick, the team moves super quick. You either stay with it or you're out. Like you'll be sitting next to the coaches. It's exactly the words he used. So yeah, I just want to like hear your opinions on that and what you guys see is the most important thing in this transition that I'm about to go through.
Um, sure, I'll jump. First of all, Mario, proud of you.
Thank
Obviously,
you.
haven't known you for too long, but I've gotten to know you, your family, and the whole community of people that support you. So I think you can be also like an inspiration for the next generation of players from the Middle East in the same way that we
Absolutely.
talked about some of the players that have inspired Canada. So congratulations first and foremost.
Thank you.
And then just to answer your question, um, the speed for sure because it's especially like when it comes to Canadian university basketball, I think it's not as extreme as the NCAA because it's just like a microwave. It's not in a sometimes not in the best or the healthiest of ways. But I think with you going to Concordia, we talked about this a while back when I was out there in Dubai about getting physically strong,
Yeah.
getting getting looking the part of a university level player. Uh, Going back to Andrew Nemhard and composure, and especially you play the guard position and point guard and whatnot, like you got to be able to replicate game environments in practice. So dealing with pressure, right? Putting defenders on you and being able to move and be able to not be rattled. That's more mental than anything than physical.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great point that was brought up by the player that you spoke to. Um, Especially for guards being ball handlers, you're gonna face pressure, half court, full court situations. So if you're the best way to train for that and prepare for that is actually through replicating in-game environments. What a mentor, coach of mine from the past told me, practice hard, gain easy. You know, and so replicating that, but approaching practice like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals, that's what's gonna help prepare you. That's what I'd say about that one.
Yeah, and to backpack on what Tariq is saying, just want to say congrats, Mario.
Thank you.
Proud of you. You setting a wave. You setting a trend for guys that are just working hard in their game in the Middle East and that want to continue to travel the world and through the sport. I think that's beautiful. Something that I would tell you is study the best. Like, your favorite point guards, like watch their games and watch film religiously type of thing, because that's how you're gonna continue to get better and like understanding your spots, like your zones on the court, the angles that's necessary. Yeah, man, and I would just say continue to work hard on your game. It already seems that you're have a strong work ethic, and just don't change anything about that, and
Yeah.
just actually turn it up,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
of course.
yeah, everybody's trying to eat, so make sure that
Absolutely.
they're not taking your
That's
food.
that's the tough part that you need to understand. Like you are at university level or you are at the pro team level, you have different people in the team that trying to take your spot or gain the minutes, and you are extremely close friends with these guys. You eat, sleep, drink, and play basketball with them. Um how do you compete against a friend? And you need to isolate that and recognize and be selfish at times that this is me. I'm trying to build what I have through a team environment, but I'm also working on myself. I'm not going to give up what's mine for someone that's just my friend, even though he can continue to be my friend, but I'm competing with him, butting heads with him head to head on the court, trying to prove my best on the court. This is the difficult part. Also, the plays part. So different people may learn the play by just the coach doing it once. Some people may need to write it down. Some people may want to review the videos. So I was the type who would like to see it through a video. And the team I used to train with in Australia, we never had an actual proper recording of the plays. And we used to have like 15, 20 plays coming into games. And me coming new into the team, I didn't have that much experience to just memorize plays off the go. So I used to actually film my training myself and go back home and review the plays that the coach did and go to the park, and in my head I'm doing the plays with people on the court or imaginary people on the court, but I'm receiving the pass coming off a chair, off a pick and roll, things like that. So that helped me a lot. Like I said, some people learn by writing it, by seeing it, or by actually recording it. I was more of like a
Right.
recording kind of guy. I gotta see it in front of me and I'll apply it straight away compared to someone just telling me the play. So yeah, that's my tip, I guess, when it comes to plays and playing at that level.
Yeah, I would also say like practice isn't enough. Like you definitely have to get that extra work in by
Yeah.
yourself.
Of course.
Whatever that means, whether you putting up your shots by yourself, whether you working with a trainer, like you need that extra work, because
Yeah.
just practice is not enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's I
I
think
would
that's
just.
the main thing that sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Mario. You got it.
I was gonna say that's the main thing that I feel like in the last 3 years since I started training with Relentless, that's the main thing that kind of transformed my game. Because if you look at my stats, especially in the BAA leagues from when I was younger, I was like a super passive player. Like I would do my job on the court, like from a team perspective, but I just did not have that like self confidence to go and do things myself. Uh, I mean, obviously to a certain extent that's good, but like I think working outside of just team practices is like just completely changed the way I approach games, and I have so much more trust in myself taking that shot instead of like pump fake and like take my time and give it to a teammate and let them create for me. So I think that definitely I'm obviously gonna wrap that up going into uni, but I think that's one of the most important things for me as a player.
That's the number one question that people ask us when it comes to an academy. Like, hey, my kid's with you 3 times a week. How come he hasn't improved? I was like, I see him 3 hours a week. What's happening to the other hours that he's in his own time? Is he
Yeah.
practicing? Is he waking up early? Is he working out? Is he lifting? What is he doing? Because we try to give you the right method to practice, but as you know, practicing on its own is not enough. You
Of
need
course.
to put your own effort on the side, whether with Relentless, whether on your own, to actually work at it. That's what's needed to improve. 1 or 2 hours a day is definitely not good enough for you or anyone to become who they want to be. If they want to play pro or go university level, a high level, they need to be working hard on themselves. 100%. Agree with you. Yeah.
So Tariq, what's the most fulfilling part of the work that you do?
Impact. Um, we've been able to make a lot of impact in Canada. Recently moved to Florida to expand what we're doing in the States. But what we've seen happen, now being 15 years in, I've been in the industry for 18 years, but the company has known both for 15. And you see, yes, you see alumni. I think we have 14 NBA alumni now
Wow.
that have walked through our doors, whether it's Jamal Murray, whether it's Shea, AJ Lawson, etc. We've been able to kind of play a very small part of their journey, and but learn through the journey as well. Whether it's guys that are making the NBA or playing pro overseas, which is amazing. We see that impact. But then also, it's the alumni that are business owners. You know, they're starting their own businesses and they're starting their own academies. This is where we see like a full circle where guys that grew up on North Pole hoops when they were kids and went to high school, they're now, 10, 15 years later, they've played pro, they played NCAA, and now they're starting a club or an academy and they're playing in our leagues as coaches. And we're like, oh, wow, like this is crazy. Like, and we always go back to the past and kind of have that down memory lane, those conversations, the rankings,
Circle of
guys
life.
that were mad at me because ranking them too low, but now they're like coaching. But you see the bigger picture, right? It's like everyone's stuck in their day to day, but then you see like you take a step back, you see, oh wow, like this is MPH family. This is like it's a lifetime commitment to supporting these people and being a support system. That's what we want beyond basketball, and that's where it transfers way beyond basketball. But yeah, definitely why else would you wake up in the morning if you're not making a difference? You know what I mean? If you're not making an impact, if you're not helping somebody, if you're not serving, we're big on like servant leadership. So that's kind of the part of our ethos, as a company. That's what gets me excited is when we can help more people.
Salute for sure. Definitely making an impact. So, what's the next phase for North Pole Hoops?
MPH Global. We've done a lot of great things in Canada over the last decade plus, and we've heard over the years from our American colleagues, that they really appreciate what we're doing, and it's unique even to the American space. So over the years, it's kind of it it helped guide me to moving to America. I've actually only been living in America full time now for a month. So now working with, we got some really cool developments coming out and partnerships um, over the next month or so. That's working with some of the top people in the states, and I think it's really refreshing because you get a different perspective. Even working with Belal in Dubai, like also same thing. You get different perspective. It's good for growth, and we're excited about being able to establish ourselves in America because again, going back to the why and the impact, enables to help us help more players, and it's being able to identify players in the Middle East, in North Africa, in Africa, in Europe, in Australia, being able to identify the talent and then actually have places for them to play prep basketball and help them move up the ladder. That's where we're going. So a lot of moving parts, but I expect to be back in the Middle East in the summertime. I know it's gonna be really really hot out there, but I'm expected to be in Saudi Arabia for the Asia Cup, and this is all part of establishing our presence globally and cultural exchanges is a big part of it.
One thing that we're trying to do, Larry, here is we're trying to form a league. Basically, this is the first time we're going to mention it. Actually, we're working together, me and Tariq, NPH, and Ball Above All, to form a league in September to purely promote kids and players who wants to go overseas to play or to attend university, whatever it is. So the league will be made
That's
for
amazing.
scouting, and there'll be a lot of eyes from abroad looking at that league exclusively. So we'll give people an extra channel, an added benefit being part of Ball Above All and NPH to be highlighted to go overseas or to be scouted to universities in that particular league.
Like imagine Larry,
That's
the
amazing.
next Mario Sawaya. That's able to get the exposure even earlier, like grade 9, grade 10, grade
Yeah.
11, and a lot more eyeballs. It's going to open a lot more opportunities for the kids. Because, like I said, it reminds me. I'm Middle Eastern, so I'm really connected to the region in a cultural way. But like, it reminds me a lot of Canada when there
Okay.
was no infrastructure, there was no exposure, and I see the passion, I see the love for the game, I see the willingness to to grow and to work hard.
Yes.
So it's like, hey, it's just missing a few things, and we try to help fill those gaps and open a whole new generation of opportunity for the kids that are coming up.
Yeah. I mean, this will highlight not only
Yeah, man.
this would highlight opportunities for people in their own culture, whether it's Lebanese or Syrian or Egyptian or even Canadian or American. They're in this region playing. Will open up the eyes on the youngsters who are talented enough and could be worked on to reach a national level, you know. And also the UAE has a good, I guess, goal that they want to promote youth basketball, and they're trying to bring up the next talent, I guess, when it comes to a UAE national or who's coming from here at a high caliber. So this will help this entire agenda from a UAE perspective, from international perspective, to highlight these players at a national level and
And the NBA. We want to see some Middle Eastern players make the NBA. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
It will happen.
Had-
And it will happen. And it will
well,
happen.
we've had Ronnie Cycli back in the day. That was it. yeah.
It's crazy though, because I was saying I've been going to Dubai since 2019, and just to see the development over the years, it's like it's through the roof. So I know that there'll be an NBA player coming out of that region in the next 10 years.
Like Ronnie Cycli is like our Jamal McGlure, let's say, in Canada. You know, like guys that made the NBA. You know, but then now it's about building that consistency, using that inspiration to like, okay, here's the pathway, walk through it. You know, this is you go here, you can get here. You go here, you can get here. As that's clear for these kids, I'm certain they have the ability, definitely.
Yeah, especially like even the last 5 MVP winners have all been from international. So that just goes to show you that the game is growing all over the world, and it's beautiful what y'all got going. What y'all doing?
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
So yeah, we're gonna keep it going. I got some rapid questions for you, Tariq. All right. So, best Canadian player of all time.
Wow. Well, the thing is, Shea is still in his ascent. He's only 26 years old. I'm going to go with Shea.
Over Nash? No, I'm playing. You can say whatever you want.
Yes, I would say yes, because he's 20. I'm projecting to the future. He's 26-year-old. His best years are ahead. As good as Shea is, his best years are ahead. So he's got 10 more years of dominance in the NBA. A lot of people talking about face of the NBA, face of Anthony Edwards, and Tatum, and these guys. They never mention the Canadian guy. You know what I mean? But like Shea is the face of the NBA. Larry, if he wins the championship with OKC and then gets MVP, he was the league's won the scoring title and MVP. Oh, man, I don't know how many guys have done that. You know, maybe Michael Jordan. I don't know how many guys have done that.
He's him. He's him. And he just dropped his signature sneaker this year. Fire, by the way.
Oh yeah, fire. Absolutely different colorways. The whole nine.
All right, last question. What do you want your legacy to be in the basketball world?
I would say extend beyond basketball. Basketball is the instrument to the mission, which is positive global impact. What does that look like in basketball terms? That's helping people around the world have life-changing opportunities, whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, whether it's an organizer, just creating opportunities for people that like outlive me, outlive what we're doing. And I think that's what is special when it outlives you. It's bigger than you. And so I would say that's the thing that's the goal. That's the end game.
That's the end game. I hear that, brother. That's love, man. That's all we got for you today, man. Like, it's been a beautiful conversation, and I'm just happy that we were able to connect, and to be honest, like anything you need in the States, any way I can help you.
We'll connect.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. You know.
And if I can say one thing, I just want to show my appreciation to Belal and BAA as a builder and as a fellow builder. I understand, and a pioneer, really. He's been doing it for over a decade, growing the game with the leagues, growing the sport, working with people in the community. It's not easy to do. So I definitely wanted to, share that appreciation. I can relate to it in a way. So keep up the great work. It's making a big impact for sure. And obviously Mario.
Yes, sir.
In Canada. Come up to some Concordia games.
Well, that's the interesting part. When I stay in touch with Mario once he's there and get some footage and keep talking about his story while he's there. Gone but not forgotten for sure.
Absolutely. The story is just beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's hit the top 5, yeah? Got next up.
Let's see the top 5 plays. Top plays, let's get it. Hey, cookies.
That's
Give me that.
That's
Come
our
on.
Masters League 35
handle
plus.
the rock.
Nice little fake
That's
there.
Coach Jamel, man. He's been out of it for a
I'm
minute.
crying.
He's back now.
Just a little floater. Oh my god.
I did not expect him to dunk that.
Get out the way.
Big man.
Get out of here. Oh yeah,
Nice one.
give me all three of those. Hold on, we doing New York style today.
Yeah, man.
Not over yet. They tried it
Yeah,
up.
Ed.
Oh,
Oh, he tied it up. Outlet. Oh.
Oh,
Oh, a little shake and bake.
is that John Starks, New York Knicks?
I'm putting. Got the ball on the string, really.
who's this guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Created that
back
space.
steps. Mario for 3.
I know him. I know
Everyone's hyped.
Nice right there.
him. Created that
Yeah,
Was that Mario? The last play?
Ooh.
That was Mario, right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure. I don't
That
want to
was,
say
yeah.
because it wasn't 100%, but I looked like him.
Yeah, it was. I see you, Mario. Yo, Mario,
Maybe
that was
separate.
nice. I like the
Yeah.
Get that separation real quick.
The bench
slash
reaction
him.
makes the play 10 times better
So,
too.
I
You
love-
know,
I
when you
love-
get
I love,
your-
like-
when you get the bench feeling what you're doing on the court. You know, everyone's behind you.
Actually, I didn't see that in the game. I didn't see the bench reaction. In the game.
Live
It's
on the
first time seeing it.
podcast,
It's so
baby.
funny.
No, it's amazing.
That's
I
amazing.
know. So which one was your best play,
That's
Mario?
amazing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Leave that to the people.
Would you go with yours?
I think
Humble,
either mine or the
humble
dunk. I like
response.
the
We
dunk.
like
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah, the dunk was nice.
The dunk was against our team too, so I have to be a bit biased.
I think the second
I
one
like
was
this
pretty
guy.
nice too. The guy he did behind the back, you know.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah, that's Milo.
stuff.
Milo
That
is
was-
really
that
good.
was
He's got
dope.
handles.
That
He's got
was
a good
fun.
shot
What's
as
cool
well.
is
It's
this-
really good. Very
What's cool
confident
is there's
player.
different age groups, right? You see the guys that are in high school, but then
Yeah,
you see
he had his
the
defender.
grown men going at it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that video we made top 5 of different divisions. It wasn't just one division. We made it from all different divisions
Nice.
that we have. We picked 5 from there to make it for this episode. That was pretty cool. That's Maki at work.
Yeah, no, it was fun. That was it. The top fives keep getting better and better.
Cool.
I'll tell you that.
Any final
you guys
words,
got
guys? Anything you guys want to say?
Man, I just really want to say thank you to Tariq, thank you to Mario for coming through.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
Thanks
yo,
for having
like sky's the limits, man. So much work to do. Let's just keep putting in pain, putting in that work.
International,
Yeah,
thank you.
international crossover for real, from Fort Lauderdale
Yeah,
to
man.
New York to Dubai. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So
You
thank
know?
you, Tariq, North Pole Hoops. Thank you, Mario, for coming, and wish you all the best in Concordia. Obviously, stay in touch. We look forward for you to visit back Dubai and play in the league and keep us updated as well. But yeah, this is from us, International Crossover. We're out.
Hey, shout out to our guest Tariq from North Pole Hoops and my guy Mario, who's going to Concordia out in Canada. Hey, good luck on your trip and good luck in uni. Keep doing your thing. It's International Crossover episode 3. We out.